Welcome to Real Authority. Today I'm talking about They Will Kill You, a brand new action film that just came out and one that I was actually very interested in. Plus, every advertisement I saw, they were hyping it up as the most violent movie ever. We can't show this. So yeah, here I am to say if it lives up to expectations. Zazie Beetz plays the new caretaker of this huge motel, in which she realizes that the residents are actually preparing to sacrifice her since the motel has ties with the devil. So la-di-da, she basically has to fight her way out of this situation while also trying to save her sister, who's also there. I mean, that's a little bit more than the movie was trying to explain, but it's technically not a spoiler because it's kind of like the first scene of the movie where you find it out. But other than that, simple premise. And I guess getting into it, Zazie Beetz definitely does a strong job as the main character. I forgot her name. But I mean, Beetz has always been a great supporting actress in any film she's been in, so it's kind of cool to see her finally headline a movie. I mean, it's not big scale or anything, it's much smaller, but definitely giving her a bit of a John Wick vehicle for which she can basically grow her career, even though her career is already pretty solid. And I feel like although the screenplay is I will get to it in a minute, but I do feel like Beetz sells her character perfectly well. Plus, she's very capable in the action sequences, although I'm not sure if they had stunt doubles because usually they CGI the faces in order to make it seem like they're the actual people, but they're stunt doubles. I didn't check. But regardless, Beetz does a great job. And I guess getting into it, the action, like, I am very happy to say that the best part about this movie is the action. Like, it's trying to go hardcore, and I can happily say that it does, plus with the right amount of blood. I mean, I was expecting the marketing to kind of oversell it, but there's enough violence in here to kind of justify almost an NC-17 rating, but I'm glad it's R. Then again, Kill Bill before the whole bloody affair had to go black and white in order to actually gain that coveted R rating, which in a lot of ways, this movie is comparable to Kill Bill, but also Ready or Not. I kind of saw it as Ready or Not, but different. And the two couldn't be more different from each other, although similar in like concept and texture. But I will say this action is next level, and that Ready or Not, I mean, it doesn't really focus on the action that much, neither one of the two Ready or Not movies, but this one goes all out, but also isn't afraid to get silly, and that silliness really lends itself a lot of credibility. And even though I already mentioned like briefly what the plot is more or less about, I'm not going to spoil anything else because the crazy stuff they do in here is something that you need to see for yourself without any preconceived notions, without any hint of it. Because I will tell you, once the movie kicks into high gear, man, you are going to have a great time and be like, WTF. But that's basically what they were going for, and so I really do appreciate that silliness, helped by the fact that Kirill Sokolov's directing is absolutely inventive. In fact, in a lot of ways, it feels like Kill Bill or trying to emulate the vintage feel of Kill Bill because Kill Bill like wasn't the start of the feel of that. I think you already know that, in which this movie embodies a similar flavor with rapid cuts, rapid editing, even some film scratches when they do the title cards. Like, it's all there. Like, it's clear they're paying tribute, and honestly, it just elevates this movie higher than I was even expecting. Granted, the cinematography from Isaac Bauman was also strong, so both the direction and the cinematography really go hand in hand in making it vintage, but also the score. I almost forgot to mention the score. Carlos Rafael Riviera's score is vintage, but also elevated. I already used that term, but I do feel like it just was so strong that it almost overshadows the action in a lot of places. Like, it's so solid that I am surprised that They Will Kill You is the movie with this strong of a score. But, I mean, it just adds to the fun, but also the suspense you're feeling. But I don't know, it just sounds super nice. So there was no way I was going to let myself forget the score without, well, feeling bad, because I do feel like it's worth mentioning the score. The special and visual effects were pretty good, selling the silliness in a lot of ways, but also the pacing was relatively strong, like 1 hour and 34 minutes. Like, it feels like it goes by in a lot of areas. Like, maybe there are some pacing issues given my only complaint, mixed complaint. Again, I'm not going to go too deep into it, but I do feel like it's engaging. And that's all you really need to be for an action movie. Unfortunately, I do have mixed feelings overall on the screenplay. Like Sokolov and Alex Litvale's screenplay, like, I do feel it has a lot of good in it. But one of the reasons why this film is so strong is not because of the story, but because of the action. And this movie's trying to be like rapid fire, like Kill Bill. But I feel like this movie runs into an immediate issue where Kill Bill gives you the basics, but doesn't go too basic, or basically leaves audiences to figure out who this character is and what the heck is is going on. Like, I do feel like this movie makes a pretty big mistake in waiting to do it in the midst of all the action. Like with Kill Bill Volume 1, unfortunately I haven't seen the whole bloody affair, so maybe it's different. But in the original theatrical cut, it kind of shows you everything you need to know. Kill Bill basically getting shot, waking up in a hospital, realizing that her baby that she actually carried is gone. Now she's on a quest for revenge. Boom, you're absolutely engaged with the action and engaged with the characters. This movie trades the characters for the action. While that's to its benefit, I would have rather had much more developed characters. Like Zazie Beetz is the only one to really be developed, while the other A-list stars are kind of just there as cannon fodder, but I'm okay with that. Less memorable than the first Ready or Not movie, but I mean, still. I don't know, I just feel like this movie really needed stronger development. I'm not saying it takes away from the action, because the action is the experience. And as much as this may not be a proper comparison, but take John Wick. Before the insane action starts, granted it was divided between 4 or 5 movies, but I do feel like you care about John Wick in this experience instead of just knowing nothing about him. You disrupted a mother effer. Like, they get that point across while also developing the humanity of the character, and this movie does try to bring the humanity in Zazie Beetz' character, but not in a way which really sticks. I feel like the development of any and all of the characters are kind of taken aback by the fact that they were focusing more on the action, which is really a big issue. Like, I'm okay with more of a focus on action, but I do feel like the development was sloppy in a lot of places, to the point where going back to the action is the only way to kind of justify it. But I do feel like if it had better development, this would probably be a masterpiece in a lot of places, but the development really holds it back from being such. Still, I could see this becoming a cult classic, and that's not to say I didn't like it. Like Forbidden Fruits, which is the movie I reviewed yesterday, I didn't particularly like it, although I'm willing to give it a rewatch in the future, hoping that it gets better and hoping that it just clicks with me. But no, They Will Kill You is one of those movies where instantly you can just vibe with it. Like, you have to suspend disbelief, absolutely, but it's basically built upon the silliness of the entire situation, but also the action is damn phenomenal. If you can get past the screenplay issues as well as the lack of effective character development, you are absolutely going to have a great time with this. It's Kill Bill meets Ready or Not, and it's absolutely a blast. Maybe could have been better, but the Real Authority still approves. Make sure to leave a like, subscribe to the channel, turn on post notifications, and comment your thoughts on the movie, and let me know what you prefer, They Will Kill You or the 2 Ready or Not movies, or how about They Will Kill You, Ready or Not 2. Let me know in the comments. Alright, peace.